Welcome to Yoruba Kingdom TV, built by passion.
Um, Hello everyone. Quick one. I know they come out this time, but be like say make I come young a little bit. Make I come ganu see some stuffs. So it is very, very important. If you see something, say something before you die. So no be me go keep quiet. I wasn't born like that and I wasn't trained to be a someone that will keep mute when things they go wrong. Me, I go talk. That is one thing about me. Me, I go talk. I don't know your own, but for me, me, I go talk my own. So if I talk finish, people they mock me, they go. I don't care. That's one thing about me. Bust you if you think say me, the thing with me I talk. That's my opinion. Okay, I might be wrong, but I am entitled to my opinion. And the thing where I want to talk today, I beg, make una try as much as possible. Let someone heard about this. I pray, say, my own blood, your own blood, you know, go be a tutu. You know, go be a tutu. Your children blood, you no go be a tutu for anybody. Will be useless person. Stay there, they eat the money.
His wife abandoned him. And so, even in this time, he's not surrounded by his family, and we're going to put him to death. But I do want to make a quick point here about we're standing up not just for him, but for all of us. The Fulani militia have killed thousands of Christians. They've killed Muslims as well. And many of them are foreigners. So we have a situation where foreigners come and kill Nigerians with impunity, and Nigerians can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
In the Northwest right now, Lakawura is a Fulani terrorist group that was invited to come and help stop the terrorism of Boko Haram and bandits. And they're now killing the people they came in to protect.
Right.
So Nigeria is under siege. And there are more Nigerian citizens on death row in Nigeria now for defending themselves against Fulani headsmen than there are Fulani headsmen in Nigerian prisons in death row. That's just wrong. That's unacceptable.
Upside down.
So no idea how much time he's actually.
His wife abandoned him. And so, even in this time, he's not surrounded by his family, and we're going to put him to death. But I do want to make a quick point here about we're standing up not just for him, but for all of us. The Fulani militia have killed thousands of Christians. They've killed Muslims as well. And many of them are foreigners. So we have a situation where foreigners come and kill Nigerians with impunity, and Nigerians can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
In the Northwest right now, Lakawura is a Fulani terrorist group that was invited to come and help stop the terrorism of Boko Haram and bandits. And they're now killing the people they came in to protect.
Right.
So Nigeria is under siege. And there are more Nigerian citizens on death row in Nigeria now for defending themselves against Fulani headsmen than there are Fulani headsmen in Nigerian prisons in death row. That's just wrong. That's
Upside
unacceptable.
down. Upside down.
So no idea how much time.
So this clip we not just watch now. Now the clip wey happen couple of days ago, that case don't dey on ground since maybe like 10 years ago. Sunday Jackson, he don't dey prison. Wetin happen to Sunday Jackson be say, northern side, Jackson wake up one of these days, leave him pikin, leave him wife house. He go farm. He no go steal. He no go do illegal mining. No, he go farm, go do some work where he go chop and in pikin and in family. So this guy come dey work. One stupid S-men Fulani come there from Futajalon. He come use in cow chop the crops of this man. This man come say, why you dey do like this? Why they do like this? Fulani comot dagger. He chook the guy. He chook am. After he chook am, ngba tó fi Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Sunday ó wá attack here. Ó gba dagger lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. He collect the dagger wey dey for him hand. He chook the man. Self-defense. Self-defense is allowed internationally, even in the Nigerian constitution. But that constitution wey me I dey talk, where I dey pariwo say that constitution gbemi constitution, and I still dey on point to say if Oju Yobo, if he no do anything concern that constitution, now he be saying they tell us be say he be Omo Ale Yoruba. Because that constitution, every nook and cranny of Yoruba land down, that constitution they overrun everybody. You know where me I talk am? This guy Sunday defend himself. They come judge am for low court. They can't say in that court to federal court to this court to they can't get into the final court. They can't say make them go hang Sunday because in they defend himself. Sunday in defend that right and hang here to death. So that is why this topic where I write here, I know what they write, where he say lies wọ́n ti wá fún wọn ní license láti pa ẹnikẹ́ni ní Nàìjíríà báyìí. That is what it means because o lè defend ara ẹ àbí o lè ìwọ ló mọ create iná nígbà tí mo lọ sílé èmi mo wá iná tí mo fẹ́ lò fún ara mi, èmi mo ṣe ọ̀nà ibi tí mo fẹ́ lò, èmi mo ṣe omi ni mo fẹ́ lò, èmi ni mo ṣe ilé tí mo fẹ́ lò, èmi ni mo tún wá security fún ara mi tí mo fẹ́ lò, tí n bá lọ lójú títì gbogbo mọ́tò tí mo gbé travel gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ ayé ẹ̀ bàjẹ́ èmi fún ara mi. Now that is to show us that wípé Nigeria is under siege. Now Supreme Court can't give Fulani herdsmen from Futajalon, no be Nigerian Fulani, they can't give them free to kill, free hands to destroy. Now, after that judgment, listen very well, because I know go stay long. No, this I know go stay long for this my conversation. Ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ irọ́ ló máa ń bá wá. Need this time around, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to talk too much. Because talk. Na him be say work underground, na him I want do most. And as I go house, I did a lot of underground work. Mommy, Bambo, at 90, why this guy where I come Naija, where I tell you say make you look for me, call me, you don't even call me. Now why for you? Okay, no wahala. Not how many weeks I spend? Na just 2 weeks. That one no be say I can't do serene. I just can't do some things and investigation, and I don't finish am. So make una come lis ten to more conversation concerning Jackson, and that is why now the thing wey dey happen for Ondo, where I come from, for Enugu, for Yoruba land, for Ogun State, for Oyo State, Osun State, the judgment wey dem give Jackson say make dem go hang am because he protect himself against Fulani militia. Na him come give audacity to Fulani herdsmen make dem dey kill everywhere in Nigeria now.
DP, the Director of Public Prosecution, the DP's advice should have killed this case. This man has no case to answer. And
You can't announce that kind of thing now. I don't tell you parably. Make we call me.
he sent
Well, for more on this case, I'm joined now in the studio by a member of his defense team, the US-based human rights lawyer, Emmanuel Ogebe, and by Dr. William Terence Devlin, an American human rights leader who has been supporting.
I beg, listen to the case of Sunday Jackson. No, listen. Then you go know say the license where Supreme Court God don't give Fulani in Nigeria. If you about don't do anything concern this thing, war where I talk last week, war go happen. No how in that country. I dey see, I dey smell war, and let me tell you, if Nigeria know they under siege, why is it that IDP camp is everywhere? The country where no they war, why is it that IDP camp is there everywhere? Make we no lie to ourselves. And the thing we don't come bug me, say to be me need to lie long. The thing we come make me man lie long ni wípé Senate where the war go start gangan ọ̀rọ̀ àǹbára wa sùn àbára wa sùn náà lọ sọ ńbẹ̀. Obìnrin kan wọṣọ ó pupa jù ó lọ́mọ méje. Nonsense. oloriburuku.com wọ́n wá kóra wọn jọ pọ̀ síbẹ̀.
Mr. Jackson. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed
Thank
for
you, Charles.
coming in. Let me start with you, Emmanuel. Just briefly give us the background to this case and what led to Sunday Jackson ending up on death row.
Yes, so this is really a sad day, I think, for Nigerians and their rights to self-defense. Nigerians already have to provide their own security, electricity, infrastructure, and now they can't even defend themselves without being sentenced to death. And I think all of us should be very alarmed by this very unfortunate precedent. In February of 2021, we read in the news about Jackson's death sentence just as we're coming into Nigeria. So we flew to Yola and I met with his counsel. He was so poor that it was Legal Aid Counsel that helped him. And so I looked through a copy of the judgment, and on the spot, in that initial review, I saw that there was a 167-day lapse between the close of arguments and the judgment. Now, our Constitution specifically says it has to be within 90 days. Now, the Legal Aid Counsel hadn't even found it. That shows you the quality of representation that he had or lack thereof. So, Mr. Jackson has been failed at every possible level by the system. And but
couldn't you adduce that argument at the Supreme Court?
Well, so here's the thing. So I was initially working with the Legal Aid Counsel to prepare an appeal. I traveled back to the U.S. When I came back, his counsel had changed. And so a group that I'm affiliated with had taken over. And I knew the chap with that. So I reached out to him and drew his attention to this fact. And he also had marshaled other facts and, threw them all in. But the sad thing is, despite everything, and the case is so clear because this man retrieved the knife of his attacker. So it wasn't his own knife. But one thing that really stands out to me is, I was talking to my dentist today about this, and a dentist said to me, what happened to the charge of manslaughter? Because at the very worst, if he had to be charged with something, it would be manslaughter. He did not know that chap before that day. He couldn't have premeditated this. And I believe that this is one of those cases that when it was brought by the police to the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, the DPP's advice should have killed this case. This man has no case to answer. And now he's sentenced to death. He's exhausted all legal channels and is awaiting execution.
How did you get involved in this case?
Yeah, well, Barrister Emmanuel and I have been working for a number of years here in Nigeria on human rights issues, and this is a sad day, Charles, for human rights in Nigeria. Sunday Jackson, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm a human rights advocate. Sunday Jackson, by anyone's estimation, is totally innocent. And the issue where this man was out farming, minding his own business, and then the attacker came and a struggle ensued. And of course, this man is going to defend himself. That's why we call it self-defense. And yet today, we were at the Nigerian Supreme Court, and it was very brief. It was only about maybe 2 minutes long. And we just wept at the failure of the Nigerian Supreme Court to say that this man, and they had the opportunity to say this man was totally innocent. We haven't seen all the ins and outs of the decision, but we had the opportunity to meet this humble farmer, this young man who unfortunately his wife abandoned him, had been on death row for 10 years. So Sunday Jackson has now become an international case for human rights.
Yes,
and
because
so we're going to continue to advocate.
I was going to ask you what are the international dimensions of this case?
Well, the international dimensions are Open Doors, which is a human rights organization, has recounted that there have been thousands of killings of Christians by Fulanis. And so as a human rights advocate and as a pastor, I'm here to advocate for this man who is totally innocent. So it has international implications. The eyes of human rights advocates are now on Nigeria. Like, how could this happen? How could this possibly happen? By anyone's estimation, as Barrister said earlier, manslaughter at least, because murder one that he's being convicted of and may face hanging if we can't get clemency for him, it has to be premeditated. So what justice on the Nigerian Supreme Court that didn't pop up and say to him or her, this is a case of self-defense and this man is totally innocent. So we encourage people to continue to pray for Sunday Jackson and his innocence.
The standard, they urge the court to convict Mr. Jackson solely on his confessional statement and based on the fact that death had occurred. So basically, no mitigating circumstances, and that was pretty much how the judge saw it.
Yes, so part of the problem is they are arguing that he had a responsibility to flee. Now, in the US, we have, stand your ground rules, which means you can defend yourself as much as you want. Now, here, they're arguing that instead of fight, you should have flight. You should flee.
In other words, after he overpowered the man and retrieved the knife, there was no further need to stab him.
Yes, but that is not accurate, and I don't think that's a fair requirement to make to someone who is facing imminent death. Now, just the data alone of all the massacres that have occurred, he couldn't have known if there were more headsmen on their way to kill him. He has seen reports of what these people do. This guy just stabbed him. And so to expect him to reasonably assume that to fulfill the conditions of the law he needed to flee made no sense.
Yeah, but nevertheless, do remember that a lot of Nigerian law is based on English common law. And if you go into somebody's house to rob the person. I think it's different in America. It's that standard ground thing. You can actually shoot the person. If you did that in the UK, you'd be charged with murder.
Well, yeah, but here's the issue. The issue is that the attacker brought the knife, he overpowered him and took the knife after he sustained injuries. And this is why I have a problem. The evidence shows that he was injured in the leg. And then you say that he should have run. So he was at that moment momentarily incapacitated to even be able to run. I mean, the facts are not in doubt. This man did not die that this attacker died as a result of the attack. But the circumstances was he attacked me, I was in fear for my life, and I fought back.
Were there any witnesses?
There were no witnesses. But, I mean, even the prosecution admitted that the weapon belonged to the attacker. The evidence, he had scars on his body of the injuries he sustained.
Okay, let me ask you, William.
Yes.
Are you now in the process of trying to reach out to political leaders in Adamawa State in order to seek clemency? Because that's the only option, really.
That's the only option. We are bringing out every possible person, method, ability to be able to grant clemency to Mr. Sunday Jackson, who is totally innocent. And so, yes, we are on a fast track to alert people that here's a man that you can stand up for from a human rights perspective. Be a hero today in Nigeria on the issue of human rights and stand up for this nobody, Sunday Jackson, that's totally innocent in spite of what the Nigerian Supreme Court said today. So yeah, we're initiating and we're going full force on that.
And how much time has he actually?
Now, laying said and done, waiting don't happen now. Sunday Jackson, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, because the guy is defending, fighting for his life in the hands of Fulani from Futajalo. And tó lọ sóko ẹ̀ jẹ́jẹ́jẹ́ wọ́n ti wá gbé yẹn. Mo mọ̀ pé this shouldn't be, if you need some clips tí nǹkan tí mi ń sọ yìí wọ́n ṣe pa àwọn ènìyàn nípakúpa ní Ondo ni o, ní Ogun State ni o, ní Enugu ni o, tó bá ní the clips ibẹ̀ yẹn tó bá Google ẹ̀ pé èèyàn mélòó náà ti pa lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tí mò ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. It's everywhere. Lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí Supreme Court tó sọ wípé kán lọ hàngí ẹni tó ń dáàbò bo ara ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Fúlàní òun náà bẹ̀ sí ń pa àwọn ènìyàn tí Fúlàní náà sọ pé tó ń ṣẹ̀yìn bí àìpé tó ń ṣe pá bí itan tó ń ṣoríṣiríṣi. If you want to call into this program, you have chance to call into this program, but before that, let me just do this thing. Mo fẹ́ fi ìdí nǹkan tí mi ń sọ mo fẹ́ fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ kó má dàbí ẹni pé irọ́ ni o wọn ò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. But the sad part and the most useless part of it is that ilé tí a pè ní ilé ibi tán ti ń ṣe òfin tá a pè ní ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣe òfin wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀ nígbà tí àwọn èèyàn ń pààyàn ń pakúpa tí àwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn náà ń ṣe iná fún ara wọn. Many stupid things is going on. Ẹ wá wo nǹkan tó bà mí nínú jẹ́ ni wípé ó ń lẹ̀ mí lójú, ó fọwọ́ gbádìí mi, ó sọ pé òun ó dì mí lọ́wọ́ mú ìgbà tí mo lọ ilé ẹ̀, òun náà ń ṣe. Ẹ wá wò ó tún jẹ́ ni pé nínú chamber yẹn gangan nínú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin yẹn gangan ẹni tó ní kí wọn ó suspend obìnrin tó lóbìnrin tó níyàá o tó jẹ́ pé obìnrin ló bí wọ́n suspend ẹ̀ to be he was being bad. The man they don ban am from America here ní New York ṣé kò lè ṣe lọ́ọ̀yà mọ́. Àwọn àjákù àlòkù ènìyàn, àwọn èyí torí ẹ̀ ti gbẹ̀bọ̀dè, àwọn tí ọfà ayé ti bà wọ́n wá kúrò ní ìlú òyìnbó wọ́n lọ ń darí Nàìjíríà bí àwọn onígbó ológogoro àwọn tán ti ban ẹ̀ àwọn tó ní criminal record àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tán bá ti dé Nàìjíríà your sin is being forgiven. We are in big mess in Nigeria. We are in trouble and ẹnìkan ṣoṣo tó kù wá kù the last man tó kù wá kù kò lórúkọ méjì o ẹ̀gbọ́n ojú tó yọ bọ́ọ̀lẹ̀ báyìí gbàs tójú yẹn ò dẹ̀ fọ́ òun nìkan ló kù Nàìjíríà kù tí ò bá wá lè ní nǹkan tó máa ṣe sí a jẹ́ pé ayé bàjẹ́ ọ̀ṣán já ọ̀pá ọ̀run dọ̀pá ọ̀ṣán já ọ̀run dọ̀pá òun lọ̀rọ̀ máa kù. Èyí tí mò ń sọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí ikú ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ lọ́tún lósì.
Residents of several communities in Ondo, Benue, Nasarawa, and Edo states are reeling from deadly attacks by suspected armed herders, sparking widespread outrage and protests. Reports indicate that a total of 30 people were reportedly killed in a series of attacks across the three states, with communities calling for urgent government intervention. There are also reports that Enugu State is grappling with a surge in violent attacks, with several communities witnessing a rise in kidnappings, killings, and sexual violence in recent days. Well, a video showing a group of protesters, mostly women, calling for urgent intervention has made the rounds on social media. Let's take a look.
We are going hungry. They are sleeping with our women. After sleeping with them, they will use stick under their vigil, which is very bad.
No movements, no transaction, no bike, nobody should go anywhere. Rescue a harmful land. Rescue a harmful land. They are chatting and learning where you go. Most of them are millionaires in their homes, in settlements, but they have been chased away. They have chased away. They left their homes. Their house have been burnt. They left their homes. Their husbands have been killed. Their sons have been killed. So many groups are coming.
Well, these are videos that we have seen circulating on social media. I've reached out to the Enugu State government to discuss this topic, and we do have our reporter on ground who's going to compile a report on the reported killings. But there are also in Ondo State women took to the streets as well, really quickly.
I just wanted to restate the basic principles, and it is as follows. Every Nigerian
Absolutely
has the right to life under Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution. In other words, nobody's life should just be terminated unnecessarily, even when that has not been pronounced upon by a court of law on account of having committed a crime. Section
So, Dr. Abati, point of correction. If a Supreme Court don't give license to a Fulani militia, make them they kill anybody we then defend themselves. Whoever will defend themselves now, then go hang them. That your constitution where you they talk. That constitution must be brought down. That constitution no work for Nigeria again.
law of the same constitution talks about the right to human dignity. People staying in their homes and being attacked either by herders or criminal elements or by terrorists will seem to amount to a violation of these fundamental human rights. And it is the responsibility of government, either at the federal or the local or state level, to ensure that people can sleep peacefully with their two eyes closed. In many parts of Nigeria now, people cannot sleep with their two eyes closed. The reports you have brought from Edo, from Nasarawa, from Enugu, from other parts, from Ondo State, indicate that people do not feel safe.
Yeah.
Now, so in some of these states, Ondo and Enugu, people have gone out to protest.
Yes.
To say that the government has a duty to save them, to protect them. After all, Section 14, sub 2b of the same 1999 Constitution says that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary responsibility of government. Shall. That is why, it becomes very embarrassing when government says, oh, the global terrorism index says Nigeria is now number 6, but that it is not true. Or analysts say, oh, it's total number. Some of the people that were killed include terrorists too. No, even terrorists, nobody should be killed. Nigeria should be a safe environment for everybody. In fact, there should be no terrorism. There should be no criminality if government were up and doing. Right. These are the basic issues. Absolutely. So the argument that, is some elements conniving, is some elements to sabotage government, that's just solistic argument. Right. It's facetious.
Residents of several communities in Ondo, Benue, Nasarawa, and Edo states are reeling from.
So, Supreme Court, see what you do. Couple of days ago, that everywhere, every land, you gonna give license to Futajalon Fulani them. Come on, walk everywhere. Come on, pa. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ojú tó yọ bọ́jú ò fọ́. Orúkọ rere ó sàn ju wúrà àti fàdákà. Constitution 1999 tó bá jẹ́ wípé oníkálùkù lè develop space ẹ̀ kó dáàbò bora ẹ̀. Ṣé ẹnìkan á wá láti Futajalon á wá pààyàn l'Ondo, á wá pààyàn l'Enugu, á wá pààyàn l'Ogun State torí pé a wà ní Àbújá à ń pín owó ńbẹ̀ kò jẹ́ kó dẹ̀ lè lójú. Tẹ́ bá wá kúrò ńbẹ̀ tán after tẹ́ lọ́dún 10 àbí ọdún 15. Ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan tí mo mọ̀ ní wípé Ọbásanjọ́ ò lè lo ọjọ́ orí tó lò mọ́ eléyìí tó ti lò láyé. Wọlé Ṣóyínká ò lè lo ọjọ́ orí tó ti lò mọ́ eléyìí tó lò láyé. Èèwọ̀ ni. Bàbá kan bẹ lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mélòó kan sẹ́yìn tó ń kígbe ńgbà náà pé tóun bá kú tán Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ ìka á ti jẹ gbogbo nǹkan tó ní báyìí. Téèyàn bá dẹ̀ ti kú gbogbo nǹkan tó kó jọ láyé kú nìyẹn. Ẹ tún lọ wo ẹ lọ gbọ̀n wò yẹ́bẹ́yẹ́bẹ́. Ìyẹn á dá tọwọ́ ẹ̀ lẹ̀. Bàbá Àkàndé lẹ́dẹ tí lẹ́dẹ ni àbí? Bàbá Àkàndé tó sọ pé òun lòun ní kí ẹ̀gbọ́n ojú tó yọbọ́ tí ò fọ́ make it come the president kò lè lo ọjọ́ tó lò láyé mọ́. Tó bá gbàdúrà ẹ̀ wọn ò máa sasóòrùn ni ayé ò máa sọ̀kòlù torí pé a máa dá wàhálà palẹ̀. Buhari kò lè lo ọjọ́ tó lò láyé mọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Babangida tẹ̀ ń dáwó fún lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta kò lè lo ọjọ́ tó lò láyé mọ́. Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ lè ṣe kẹ́ ẹ sọ pé màá fi yín lẹ̀ láyé lọ. Èèwọ̀ nítorí tírú mi bá fi yín lẹ̀ sáyé lọ ẹ dìdàkudà sáyé ẹ ráre kú ni. Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ fẹ́ ráre so á bẹ́tà kẹ́ lọ gun ara yín lábẹ́rẹ́ kẹ́ kú dànù. Àwọn upcoming generation wọ́n wo gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe. Bàbá Adébóyè èyí tẹ́ ẹ lò láyé ẹ ò lè lo eléyìí tẹ́ ẹ lò mọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá gbó bí ifá bẹ́ẹ̀ mà bọ́ pẹ̀lẹ́ èèwọ̀ ni kò lè possible. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni MFM àti bàbá wa Oyèdépò èyí tẹ́ ẹ dákẹ́ rọ́rọ́ síbẹ̀ tán ń pa kìrìsìtẹ́nì bí ẹni pa èkútélé tán ń pa mùsùlùmí tán ń pọ̀ tún pòsì wẹ́rẹ́dìwẹrẹ̀. Bàbá kan jáde ńgbà náà ó ní kinní tán bá ti gba ìgbèríko tán wọ́n á wá ẹ lè ní army tó surround yín, lára àwọn army wọ̀nyí náà ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún wọn. Ọ̀pálámbá níwájú kò mọ̀ lẹ́yìn ọrùn, ó ń bọ̀ ó máa tó kàn yín. Eléyìí kì í ṣèpè, kì í sì ṣàràyà, ó máa tó kan gbogbo yín lágbára lọ́wọ́ Olódùmarè. Bákan náà Akpabio kò lè lo eléyìí tó ti lò láyé mọ́ tó ń fojú obìnrin tó fi ń ráre Nàìjíríà. Tẹ́yin èèyàn tẹ́ wà ńbẹ̀, ẹ̀yin sínétọ̀ tán ti ban ẹ̀ pé láyé a ò gbọdọ̀ rí imí ẹ̀ láàtàn ní ibí báyìí mọ́. Natasha obìnrin bí ọkùnrin máa múra má ṣóńṣó, ẹni tẹ́ ẹ bá lè support Natasha ẹ support ẹ̀, obìnrin ló bí yín.
And other aspects of our society. A culture of harassment and silencing must end. And this is not just a Nigerian issue, it is a global one. Women in politics, media, and businesses face threats, intimidation, and violence for simply demanding fairness. From sex for grades scandals in universities to harassment in workplaces and political spaces, Nigerian women have constantly been forced into silence. We need stronger legal protections and a zero culture tolerance for gender-based discrimination and intimidation. My call to the international community is such that the world must not stay silent as democracy and women's rights are rolled back in Nigeria. I call on human rights organizations, women movements, and democratic institutions to hold the Nigerian Senate accountable. Nigeria needs global partners to push for women's political inclusion, safety, and protection from political harassment. You may ask, what are my next steps? I will resist the political intimidation. In the past few days, a number of my colleagues, my male colleagues, have reached out to me and said, Natasha, all you need to do is apologize and retract your statements. And I told them I am not going to apologize. I will not apologize for my truth. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I told them that I will stand the 6-month suspension, and the very first day I return, I will represent my petition on sexual harassment. And I will continue doing so until there is a fair and transparent investigation. I will fight, thank you. I will fight this injustice and continue to represent my constituents, whether the Senate wants to hear me or not. I will work with women's group, civil society, and legal teams to ensure that this unconstitutional suspension is quashed. This is bigger than me. This is about ensuring that no other woman in politics or public office will ever be silenced again. Thank you so much. And other aspects of our society. A culture of harassment and silencing must end. And this is not just a Nigerian issue, it is a global one. Women in politics, media, and businesses face threats.
Ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ntẹ́ ń ṣe ń bẹ̀, wọ́n ń pa àwọn èèyàn káàkiri constituency yín. Ọ̀rọ̀ Ọbaṣùn, ó lọ́kọ 7, ó láya 9 lẹ̀ ń ṣe ń bẹ̀. Shame on you. My name is Berigbemi, I dey go. Whoever say me I no come back, ayé ẹ̀ máa ta ni bí gúgúrú. Ó dàbọ̀.